Hi, I'm Todd Jones, host of the podcast Press Box Access. Here's a clip from my interview with Terence Moore. Terence takes us ringside for Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, and he provides a poignant sight from the wee hours after that classic fight.
Hagler fought Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard in Caesar's Palace, and Hagler lost, quote unquote. He actually won the fight, but they gave it to Leonard for a lot of reasons. And Hagler was very, very bitter for years. Matter of fact, he was so bitter, Hagler, he retired and to become an actor in Italy.
Right. And
when he retired, no one thought he was going to retire for good, but he ended up doing it. But backtracking. So he loses that fight, theoretically. And again, it was at Caesar's Palace. And it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like walking through the parking lot. And I see this figure in this empty parking lot in the distance. And I was like, who is that? And, you get that reporter's instinct going, it's like, I'm just kind of curious. So I move closer and closer, and it's Hagler. Yeah, this is like hours. He's wandering the parking lot, wow. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, there's a story here. And I'm just like watching him and just wandering the parking lot. And then finally in the distance, there's this Budweiser truck. And there's a guy just unloading these cases of Budweiser. I guess they're taking to Caesar's Palace to one of the restaurants or what have you. And Hagler goes over to the guy in the Budweiser truck, and there's a guy that's unloading these cases of Budweiser from the back of the truck. Apparently they're taken to Caesar's Palace or one of the restaurants or so. And Hagler goes up to the guy and asks if he could have a beer. And The guy looks at Hagler and says, "Oh, you can have the entire case." As if I saw the fight too. That was one of the most remarkable things I've ever witnessed as a sports journalist.
What did you end up writing?
I ended up writing the scene. Mm-hmm. And again, taking that same philosophy. Sometimes you can overdo it. Everything that I just said was powerful enough. Just the fact of me in that parking lot, just the fact of me seeing this shadowy figure in the distance, for me seeing him, discovering that it's Marvin Hagler, and describing how he was dressed. He was in a sweatsuit with a hoodie pulled down over his head. And you can just tell that he was just in this miserable state of mind because he just lost a fight, theoretically, that he actually won. And then he's going up to the guy in the beer truck, the Budweiser. So describing all of that right there, that's a heck of a column.
Marvin Hagler died on March 13th, and
yes.
And a lot of great tributes to him, and it brought back a lot of memories. I was a big boxing fan. But I think this image of Hagler on that night is something that's going to stick with me. And I know it has stuck with you because I think it shows what these athletes, especially in boxing, what they put out there on the line, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, Todd, and you can relate to this. I know. I learned something a long time ago in this business, that the better stories and the more emotional stories and the more gripping stories are the one of defeat instead of victory.